Right, my name's Tim Reed and I'm 32 and been writing for quite a while. Live in good old London and work in editorial for a computer security company, so it's not fiction but it's editorial and it helps with my own writing. Been able to fiddle with reports and things and tweak. So yeah, that's a bit about me, and I'm engaged to be married as well, which is nice. What have I written over the course of my life? Well, I'm still only fairly young as a writer, but I think my first book, which I had semi-self-published, was my Everlace book, which was a fantasy novel, my first novel, and had a lot of good ideas in it. Needed a bit of tweaking technically in regards to my later works, but certainly had a lot of imagination in there, and that was the first book I had self-published. I had a lot of good local book signings for that and did a fair amount of marketing and sold a few copies, and it was all a lot of positivity going on with that. Since then I've worked on other novels, but most of my published stuff has been short fiction, so a mixture of short stories and novellas. I've had 5 or 6 short stories published as ebooks generally, and a couple of novellas as well. And my most biggest selling one is Running Free, which is a short story based around a man with a chance meeting with a fox, which has sold several thousand copies online, which is pretty handy. The Spider from the Well, it is my latest novella, and it has been released in ebook and paperback, and I'm very proud of it. I think it's my best work to date in regards to quality, and its overview is set in 2 time frames. It starts off in the contemporary New Forest, and a couple come across some old sort of ruins, and they find an old diary, and they start reading this diary of this man that's become a bit unhinged, and it's sort of late 19th century, and he's living in this area with his daughter, and it's basically his descent into a bit of madness and these visions he starts having about these weird creatures coming from the well outside his house and their assault on his house. And where it goes from there, there's a lot of esoteric stuff going on, and I won't give away what happens at the end. There is a bit of a twist. Style of Spider from the Well, well, I think it's very much a Lovecraftian feel to it in regards to being this influences Hodgson, Lovecraft, Poe, people like that, the turn of the 20th century weird fiction aesthetic, and I tried to write it in that vein. I wrote it in 2 different time frames, so I had to shift the style between those two. So I had the Victorian man with slightly archaic language, and then you have the contemporary man and his wife and the way they intersect with each other. So it's very much a classic horror story, but with a slightly modern twist in regards to the settings and the discourse. My favourite chapter from Spider of the Well to write? Well, I didn't really go in chapters per se, as more sort of sections, clumped with dates and what happening to the gentleman in the book. I think it's probably 2 favourite ones overall. First one being the first appearance of the Flymen. I actually enjoyed writing them in, and the way they appear outside his window in these cornfields outside, and they sort of rise up out of sort of seemingly nowhere, and how they look. They've got these horrendous sort of tubish mouths, and they're very, very alien to everything this Victorian man knows. And the second one is towards the end, the gentleman has this extended vision of the past, the present and the future, like an alternate past, present and future of the earth as we know. So I enjoyed writing that as a whole, I think, especially the prehistoric past stuff. I did a bit of a tweak on the formations of the continents and how the dinosaurs came into being, and how all this weird stuff happening with this well was integrated into this ancient world, and how it carried over time. I actually sent it to a publisher I've actually had stuff published with before, with the hope that they'd take it on. They did, which was great. I didn't actually expect a paperback release, because until recently they'd just been an ebook publisher, so that was a nice surprise, and I've been really plugging the paperback release of Spider from the Well. The process is only recently been published, about a month out, and I've been hard at work marketing it to friends and family, and through all my social networking sites, and trying to push it as much as I can, hosting giveaways on Goodreads, which is a good thing to get a lot of people interested in your book and put it on their to-read list, so to speak, and going from there really. And that's the process thus far, and it's just a simple word of mouth thing. I think the quality is very good. If I can get people reading it, I can get people reviewing it, it gets it more visible, and hopefully I should sell more copies. Spider from the Well, you can buy it at the minute on Amazon, co.uk and .com, and Smashwords as well deals with it, and you can buy either an ebook or a paperback of that at the minute, which is handy. And for my other works, again online, Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Goodreads and Smashwords, mostly online sites like that. Yeah.